I rely on the prayers of all the faithful of the Church. I also ask the prayers of my brothers and sisters in other Christian communities. Jesus has assured us that the prayers we fervently pray to God will receive a response. I ask as well the goodwill and prayers of the whole community for this important moment in the history of the Catholic Church. Thank you. George, do you want to help with the questions? Thank you.
Questions? Yes, go ahead.
Do you want to use a microphone? Is there a standing mic somewhere?
No.
Can,
I can just talk loud.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was told there was a microphone out here, so that's why I mentioned it, but I guess not.
What will you be looking for in selecting a new pope?
Okay, thank you. They can say who they their name and who they represent.
Could you identify yourself and who you're representing?
Yes, I'm Janine De La Vega. I'm a reporter with KTVU, Channel 2. And my question was, what will you be looking for in selecting a new pope?
What will I be looking for in selecting a new pope? Well, the office is a complex one. There are many standard, I think, given qualities that one needs to look for: a man of faith, a man of prayer, a person who has shown qualities of leadership either through his work in a major archdiocese in the world, or possibly through heading a department in the Curia, or perhaps more ideally, a combination of those things. It's helpful for a pope to have some linguistic ability, because he's dealing on a daily basis with people from so many parts of the world, and at least facility in the major languages is very helpful. I think those are the principal parameters that I would see that are present, I think, in many, if not most, of the cardinals who go into the conclaves. It's true that, oops, excuse me, Channel 48. It's good. I lost my train of thought. It's true that the election does not have to consider only the cardinals. That is, any baptized Catholic could be elected. I mention it simply as a point of law, but it's not very likely unless there were someone of particular note if there were such an election, the man would have to be ordained a priest and a bishop before his election would take effect.
Thank you. Given that last comment, is there anyone here who would like to volunteer?
No volunteers,
Themselves.
please.
There isn't. We do have a microphone now. Could you just hand it to, identify yourself, please, and then.
Hi, my name is Martha Mendoza. I'm a reporter with the Associated Press. Pope Benedict decided that he's not going to share the results of an internal investigation into Vatican leaks with your group prior to conclave. And I'm wondering if you think the Cardinal should give that investigation before deciding who's qualified to replace Benedict.
He's the person who asked for and received the report. I take it. I don't only know what I read in the papers or hear on the news, so I don't have any personal information about it. But if his judgment is that there's nothing in that report that's necessary for the considerations of the cardinals, then I think we can rely on that. He has, in my frequent contacts with him over these years, I found him a man of very good judgment.
Okay. Other question? Yes. Microphone coming.
Hi, Len Rivera from CBS 5. I wondered if you could comment on what some people have termed the growing divide between Catholic doctrine and U.S. Catholic reality, especially as it relates to the role of women in the church and ordination of women. And and sisters have been at odds with the Vatican in recent years. Given the realities today, do you feel that the sisters have a point?
Well, there's a threefold, I hear a threefold question. The difference between the role of the church and the role of the authorities of the church and the role of the many Catholics in the pews, we could say, or no longer in the pews, and then the role of women among those, and then the role of sisters. So, and then the side question of the ordination of women. So I'll try to treat all of those. If I forget one of those, you can come back and remind me. I think in every culture there are cultural issues that are not easily able to be reconciled with the tradition and the apostolic teaching of the church that comes from Jesus through the first apostles and under the guarantee and guidance of the Holy Spirit. That's Catholic doctrine. So I think all of us Catholics here live in a culture which is in which our primary information source is not the church but the media, the press, the various agencies of disseminating the media. And sometimes I would say there is, in my view, now I'm taking the view of a Cardinal Archbishop, but in my view there is a tendency among the media to use kind of gotcha moments in which they illustrate that these various things are going wrong. I think of it in terms of the Pope, for example. I mean, his main ministry is to pray, to celebrate the liturgy, to catechize, also to encounter heads of state and to offer mediation and prayers for peace. But those ordinary things don't get a lot of attention. Usually it's something like WikiLeaks or some other thing that I suppose it's the same for President Obama, not quite the same, or heads of state. They have many things that they do very well day in and day out. But if something comes along that can be open for criticism, then that's what gets the attention. And I think Catholics at my level and in the pews can live with that to a certain extent. I think that there is some tension that we need to be able to address. The question of women in the church, one might say, is also in a hierarchical church is a question that affects men, because lay men and lay women through the Vatican Council were invited to take a more active role, not only in the world but in the church. And we've set up a series of, for example, canon law has the structure of the pastoral council at the level of each diocese and at the level of each parish, not, mind you, at the level of a church in a country. That's something that could be thought of for the future. And those are ways of having a vehicle of communication and dialogue between parishioners, among parishioners, and with their pastors about their needs and about the needs of their society, their country, and so forth. So I hope that those opportunities for a greater sense of dialogue and ownership will be given greater prominence in the future. That's been one of my hopes, and I've worked hard as an archbishop to try to implement that vision. With regard to the specific role of women, I deliberately liken it to, as lay women, I deliberately liken it to that of women. The women have always played an extremely important role in the church, and the active role of the faithful in the church is something that is graded. First active role is that of prayer, and the liturgical